Star Trek Strange New Worlds Episode 8. Once again, with this show, I feel like we're going to be reaching the verging points between people that like original Star Trek and people that don't like quirky sci-fi. This is another one of those episodes, like last week, where I think it's going to be very divisive. And from what I've seen online, yeah, classic Trek fans that I've read like it. This is a TNG episode, if I ever seen one. The original series kind of went to these areas occasionally, but this is some TNG stuff. It's a really good episode. Like, I genuinely like what this episode did. I think it explored some really interesting ideas. It did resolve some issues pretty fast, but we had to kind of get through that hurdle in order for new things to arise, so I can't fault it for that. If this show is operating like it's trying to do the big, 10-season arc, I'm fine with doing this kind of an episode. It does seem a little early into the series, but I can't fault it for that. It seemed like somebody really wanted to have the characters play dress up, and that was good. So the other thing about this episode too, and this really just hit me this week, just in terms of this and The Boys and things like Physical and Superman and Lois, where genre fiction really is doing some great stuff for actors, and it's not getting the recognition it deserves. This one's more tongue-in-cheek than the other ones I mentioned, but that's okay. This is supposed to be played up as a joke, as a goof, as something funny, and the serious moment comes later down the line, and that's okay. If you can't see the humor in what this episode's doing, I understand that. But just know this isn't supposed to be taken seriously. All of them are playing caricatures. That's the point. So M'Benga gets an episode dedicated to him, and his main storyline is trying to find a cure for his daughter's leukemia, and it's hard to do. And he thinks he found something in the last one, but now it's looking like he doesn't know, and she has maybe days left. And he wants to spend time with her, but he also wants to solve this problem, but he also has to do his duties as the chief medical officer aboard the starship. How is that all going to balance out? And we find one day while he's reading his daughter's favorite fable to her, they're in a nebula system, and he's like, this is not going to go well. He keeps telling her this promise, when you are older, you can change stories. You can write your own story, and you can make it whatever you want, because she doesn't like how two characters in this book never really meet, because they seem like they'd be getting along really well. So she kind of knows she might not get there. He knows that she's not going to get there, but he wants to comfort his daughter in that way. And it's beautiful, and it's interesting, and I really buy the heart in that scene. It was really sweet. So he gets called to the cockpit, or the helm, I guess. I don't remember what they call it. Why am I blanking on that right now? It's just a long day, and I just forgot what they call things on a starship. Either way, Pike calls him up, and when he gets aboard to see Pike, guess what happens? The nebula messes things up a bit, and it turns out that the storybook has come to life, and the characters aboard the Enterprise are playing these roles. Yeah, it's silly and goofy, but it's fun. You have those sets, put some vines and leaves all around them and some really dumb decorations. It looks funny and silly. I like it a lot. Look, it is so TNG and so original series that I adore that for it. I know how modern audiences might not like that, but it's silly and fun. So M'Benga is one of the only two crew members who hasn't been caught up in this weird fable that's come to life. The other one is Hemmer, because Hemmer, of course, is blind and telepathic. Something was trying to probe into his mind. He said, "Get off of me. I'm blocking it off." So they are both thrust into the story, but they have their full memory. M'Benga is the king. He's the one in charge of the realm, and Hemmer has taken the role of Castor, the wizard, who is the brother of one of the other wizards in this world, played by Spock, and it's very fun. Everybody's just having a good time acting their asses off. They get to play caricatures in such fun ways. Ortega is like the knight in shining armor who comes in and saves the day. Very badass, very tough. Pike is, again, impressive to see Anson Mount doing some great work. His hair is so dumb looking, but that's what you can do when you have all that hair. You can change it to whatever you want. He's cowardice, he is schmarmy, he's gross, he betrays people in the end. It is hilarious. I love Anson Mount so much, and it just surprises me that he started off in Hell on Wheels. That's where I know him from, because there's such a difference between that performance and these ones. Wow. I love seeing that for him. It's very fun. Yes, Spock is another wizard. He seems the most bored, like he doesn't have any emotion or anything going on for him, which I love to see. Leanne is the princess, and holy shit was this hilarious. I am so impressed with what that actress did. Like, oh my god. Just so dramatic, so over the top, literally doing this beautiful song for 1 second, where everyone's just like, how is this coming from this woman? It's hilarious. It is funny. It's not supposed to be taken seriously. That's the ending. This is all just silly semantics and funny stuff going on. We see that like the red shirts have become like the Crimson Guards, and they're just protecting the evil queen, who is Uhura, and holy shit, did she get a nice costume. That is really impressive looking. Very pointy, very cool. Making her the bad guy's kind of interesting. I like that. Very fun. Una becomes like an archer, and the point of dichotomy in the book is that the knight in shining armor and the archer don't meet, but Mbanga's daughter wants them to meet because she thinks it'd be really cool, and that's when he clues in. That's what my daughter wanted to see happen. Maybe this has something to do with her. And he wants to go find her. She's no longer there. So he's like, oh shit, something happened to my daughter. And it's a really interesting story from there on. And I understand how some people could be like, this is an easy out for him, you know, where he no longer has to take care of his daughter. We solved that problem. It is pretty Star Trek-y. I'm okay with it. Basically, Hemmer theorizes that the nebula that they're a part of is a sentient being now. It's like a rare thing that happened in the cosmos where this nebula or this aura of power can suddenly gain sentience and become an omnipotent being. He theorizes that the nebula did that and saw the pain that the daughter was going through and said, I want to play with her and keep her safe. They're just pretty much two children incapable of doing anything. So they're like, let's play a game, and she wanted her dad to be involved in the game, so she made him the king of the fable they were reading. And once he solved the problem, he comes to find his daughter. She's like, Dad, you did it! Did you have fun? That was really cool. Look at my friend, we're just playing and having fun out here. But Mbanga realizes, you don't have your cancer anymore. How is that possible? And while the nebula speaks through Hemmer, we realize that it wants to keep his daughter safe. So now he has to make the choice. Can he stay here with his daughter and play out the fantasy, or does he let his daughter go, be one of the nebula, and save his crew? It's intense. And I think it's handled well. I could definitely understand how it gets him off the hook and it's very rushed. But I think you just see, like, this is a man who knows there's no other options. He's aware of the situation, and he was told earlier on in the episodes of his duties aboard the starship. He's well aware of the circumstance he is a part of, so he's going to be more open to changing ideas and stuff. He lets his daughter go, and it's a very sweet moment where he just says goodbye, like, you can write your own stories now, you can tell them. It's very powerful and it's moving. I thought it was a very sincere moment between a father and a daughter. It was nice. And she says goodbye, and the nebula absorbs her, and then instantly she returns a grown woman, having lived her whole life in these experiences, and lets her dad off the hook, pretty much just saying, it was the right call, you did the right thing, and I thank you for it. It's kind of cool. I genuinely think this is a fascinating idea to play with. It does seem kind of like a rushed ending, but I think there's something to explore in there that is very fascinating. I like that idea. She names the nebula after her mother, which is another sweet moment for Mbanga to get like that. Oh, that's really nice. Everything about that was really sincere, really sweet. It was a good episode, and it does get him off the hook, and the moment that he meets his daughter again, things can go back to normal. Nobody remembers what happened but him. It is sweet and nice, and he talks to Una at the end. It's like, well, like every story, it started once upon a time. That is nice. And there was some conflict in there, and you really bought that this father knew what he had to do and had to let his daughter go and let her be a person, because he was kind of in a sense, not really, but in a way holding her hostage by trying to save her instead of letting her live her life. And I think that is an interesting story to explore, and it does it in a really fun and fantastical way. It's just cool to use the sets again and dress them up sillily and different. And everyone is just acting so exhaustingly, but that's what makes it funny. Anson Mount in particular just knew, this isn't for me to be the stoic cool guy, I gotta be the weirdo. and he did that well. I really like it. And Chapel was in there too. She was kind of just like a doctor, but like, you know, an apothecary kind of thing. Cool. I thought this was really well done. It was silly, but it worked. You got the payoff. Now we don't have to worry about that story going forward. Not that I think many people were worried about that story going forward, but it's just something like she could appear again and see her dad. I think that's really nice. It's just kind of cool. I thought it was a really sweet thing. Nice to see both M'Benga and Hemmer lead an episode because we've been focusing a lot on Spock recently. I thought it was kind of cool to have these guys be part of it, to explore our larger cast. That's what we need to do more. And now, who hasn't really led an episode yet? Is there anybody who hasn't really been like the focus of an episode this season? I guess Ortega hasn't really been the focus of an episode, but she's been a part of all of the main stories. Christine's kind of been a part of the main one in some of the Spock stuff. But I guess it could be anybody. I could definitely see the last 2 episodes being about like Una, Spock, and Pike, though. So we'll have to wait and see what happens. But this was a really fun episode. It's not going to be for everybody. But I implore you just to enjoy the ride. Like, it's TV. It's supposed to be silly. Enjoy it for what it is. Don't expect this to change the world. Just enjoy the ride of a father trying to understand how to help his daughter. It's kind of fun that way. So that's going to do it for this review of Strange New Worlds. Now, thank you guys for watching this video. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.